you're a different man the moment that you hold your child for the first time. I was privileged to be able to spend about 2 or 3 weeks with my daughter. After that, she alienated me from my daughter. So I went 10 months begging and pleading, letting me see my daughter.
Welcome to the Fathering Strong podcast. Each week, we have an interesting conversation with dads, fatherhood practitioners, and experts on matters of importance to men and fathers. Thanks for joining us. With today's episode, here's your Fathering Strong podcast host, Eli Williams.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of the Fathering Strong podcast. Eli Williams here, and my guest today is Joshua Krakow, and I'm just getting to know Joshua, so we are together going to learn about Joshua and the work that he is doing. Joshua, thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, sir.
I got to meet you for the first time here today, but we have a mutual acquaintance in Sean Ryan of Florida. And he highly recommended you as a guest to be on the Fathering Strong podcast. Our passion is fathers, obviously, fathering strong. And so he said, I've got your guy. So welcome, Joshua. Let's begin, as we always do, with some questions for you regarding your own upbringing. Tell us about your life as a little boy, your relationship with your father, your parents, anything along those lines that you'd like to share with us to give us some insight into Joshua Krakow.
The childhood, that's always a fun place to start. So as a kid, I was actually one of the smallest kids in school. I got picked on, bullied. My parents, I lived in a 2-parent household. They unfortunately got divorced in my senior year, physically divorced. I would say pretty much as far as I can remember, it seemed like they were divorced the whole time. There were fond memories, but it was very much of I was my mom's son, and I was treated differently than my sister was. And my dad was my sister. They kind of linked up, and it almost kind of created this divorce-like situation where I always wanted to have my father's support and just respect in general, as many sons do. And my dad was very big into the church, very much was active in the church. He was an usher. He would go in the back and count money. I'd be the rambunctious kid that was setting off alarms at the church, just playing around and getting into trouble. So a lot of my upbringing, I was raised by my mom. My dad was very busy with work and paying the majority of the bills. Eventually, my mom started a in-home daycare, where I do think that a lot of my gentler virtues have come in to help me work better with my daughter and be able to empathize better. But like I said, unfortunately, my dad was in the home. He wasn't very present. He prioritized a lot of things that left the family at home. When I was 18, I actually was graduating high school. I graduated high school homeless because at 18, I brought a girl home at night, and my dad found out, and it became homelessness. Me and him did not talk until about 6 months after that situation, pretty much. And I had already enlisted into the Marines. And he actually, I don't know exactly where he heard from. I mean, but I was in a traumatic motorcycle accident when I was 19 years old, July 29, 2018. And I was hospitalized for 2 weeks. Somebody just wasn't paying attention. I just got back from a motorcycle trip to Colorado, safe and sound, and my motorcycle wasn't running right. I was in the right lane. Somebody in the middle lane changed lanes, hit the front tire, handlebars went to the right, bike leaned to the left. I I mean, my life was a major pivot. It
Mhm.
was very, very, very much changed. Um, Through that, I've had great opportunities. I mean, I don't know how many people really talk to people with disabilities. But it's really been a way for me to just be able to relate to individuals with disabilities and be like, hey, you're in a wheelchair. I mean, I'm not in that same position, but I mean, let me kind of understand that sense and position of yours. So it's really helped me to gain a lot of insight on that. I've worked with a great organization called Abilities. They work with kids with limb differences. I've been working with them since I think like 2011. Great organization. Um, and then we kind of get to the point of where I start becoming a dad. I mean, I lost my leg. It wasn't my fault. There was a lawsuit. Yeah. So I got a settlement. I got a structured settlement. I was 19 at the time, so I didn't know what to do with the lump sum and figured, hey, let's break it out and make it smart. So, needless to say, I was just living my life with disabilities. I mean, there's been years, unfortunately, that I've had a bad doctor and I struggle walking. And I've been on knee crutches and uh, it's been uh, not the best situation, being disabled. A lot of the times people don't see it because you're at home when you have problems or you limit yourself to things. Um, so needless to say, I was getting my life together. I had property in Tennessee. Um, I was looking at moving there and starting my own business and just trying to uh, be successful. So I ended up not wanting to find a girlfriend. I was like many young men, sexually driven and just looking for a good time. And unfortunately, I met my daughter's mother in the capacity of the negative circumstances that my daughter's in. Not that I regret my daughter; she's the best person you will ever meet. Um, but needless to say, her mother entrapped me. Uh, we were supposed to use the day after pill. I thought I saw her use it. Later on, she admitted that she didn't use it. And come to find out, I was one of 4 guys that she was trying to get impregnated by. So I had petitioned and I had no clue that my daughter was mine until uh, I went down to the Department of Revenue and got my DNA results from them. And instantly I wanted to meet my daughter. I mean, I think that any dad that doesn't at least water up, maybe not dead out cry, but has his eyes water up the first time that he holds his child. I mean, it, yeah, you're a different man the moment that you hold your child for the first time. And I was privileged to be able to spend about um, 2 or 3 weeks with my daughter, just a few 30 minutes here when her mom let me come over. My daughter was 3 months at the time. Um, After that, she knew that I had a girlfriend. Um, and she wanted me to break up with her and get back with her. When that was not on the table, she alienated me from my daughter. So I went 10 months begging and pleading, letting me see my daughter. There were instances, hey, come see her. Okay, I'm hurrying. Oh, she's napping now. Sorry. Um, her mother has mental health problems. She's been Baker acted now twice. Um, Once was prior to me, and then the other time was actually when I gained my custody. Um, I was begging and pleading. I got terrible text messages. One of which telling me that my daughter was in pain. Every time she poops, she's bleeding. Uh, and it's like, okay, well, take her to the doctor. Like, I had to compel my lawyer to have her take my daughter to the doctor, which resulted in, and I wanted to go to the doctor just to make sure that she's okay. Um, and resulting in me having law enforcement called on me. Um, this all goes on. Her mother eventually, at 13 months old, had a serious manic episode where the first step was, it was on a Tuesday. Her mom called me telling me that she had slipped and fell, and that my daughter had hit her. She was holding my daughter, and then my daughter hit her head, and she blacked out and might be dead. Um, and that was the first time that I was told that my daughter might be dead. Um, and I don't know how I made it to my friend's house about a mile away. And I said, "Hey, you're taking me to the hospital. I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, it's, yeah, I need to be there for my daughter." Come to find out, everything was fine. She was able to be released that night. Only like an hour and a half visit. Um, so, uh, the next day, she then was still manic. She ended up, we were supposed to go to a follow-up appointment at her pediatrician's office the next morning. And I show up at the pediatrician's office for the appointment, and she's not there. And then there's a claim of vehicle problems. And then I show up, and her mom claims assault and a rape and all this. And I could tell that there was something going on. So I recorded it all, which it doesn't matter, in hindsight with the courts. Um, then the next step was I was supposed to take her that day. So I picked her up, and I had gotten up to 3 hours a day for 2 days a week. I barely was able to finally get my daughter to my house. Because I took a bad deal. I got up to a bad deal where I was able to get 1 hour a day for 2 days a week for 2 weeks, 2 hours a day for 2 days for 2 weeks. And then I got up to 3 hours a day for 3 days or for 2 days for 3 weeks or for 2 weeks. And so that it was literally within like the 5 weeks period. And, she ended up, at that time, she had posted a video of her eyes rolling in the back of her head on a mom's group. And also the mom, she's talking about all these instances in this mom's group, and they're different moms are hearing different stories. And I mean, I have major concerns, but I don't have any rights at this point other than to see my daughter, and that's it. Prior, I had called law enforcement because I had concerns about her mental health and was threatened with arrest for misuse of 911 services. Um, but needless to say, that Friday, I was leaving to go on a vacation with my best friends, to Colorado. And her mom's calling me freaking out about some guy that raped her or whatever. Please take me with her. I'm like, I'm not taking you. I'll take my daughter, and I would absolutely love to take my daughter. Uh, my best friend's family is in the state foster care program. They are some of um, the most active parents in the state of Florida. They've been recognized by the state because of how many families and children they have fostered. Um, Great family. And her mom obviously did not let me take her. So I wanted to make sure that there was somebody if I were gone and there was an instance. Um, so I ended up going on vacation, and halfway through my vacation, I get a call from this mom's group, or from moms on this mom's group, text messages. I mean, I was getting blown up. Um, and they were telling me that they Baker acted my daughter's mother. And I'm in
That
Colorado.
they did what to her?
Baker acted. They called for a
Baker
Baker
Act.
action, which is medical. It's involuntary. Yeah. So they ended up calling her for my daughter's safety because they had major concerns, especially after seeing the videos.
Yeah.
And they shared the videos with me as well, which was scary to say the least, being in Colorado and not being able to know that my daughter was okay.
Yeah.
Um, I'm smart enough to know dialing 911 locally is just going to get me to Colorado. So I did call Lee County non-emergency number where I live and where my daughter was, to ask, hey, where's my daughter? Like, what's the situation? If her mother's Baker acted and in a mental facility, how am I supposed to know that my daughter's okay? I mean, I'll jump on a plane right now and I'll figure it out. Um, Law enforcement couldn't tell me anything. Sorry, you don't have any custody arrangement right now. Um, so it was hard going and enjoying my vacation the rest of the time, coming back, and basically I was told by my lawyer the next day that just go and show up for your visit. It was supposed to be on a Tuesday and then the next Wednesday and then Thursday, I think it was. But yeah, go for your next visit and hopefully she's okay. I mean, that's all that I had. That's all the information that law enforcement would give me. There was no, hey, an Amber Alert. Like, you don't know where my kid is. Your mom's Baker acted. The dad's wondering. Let's do an Amber Alert. No concern. Needless to say, I ended up going through that. Her mom, or my daughter's grandmother, pretended like everything's fine. Yeah, just bring her back. We had these events going on. I had talked to my lawyer and she advised me to keep my daughter for her safety. And I wanted to, obviously, because of having major concerns. Somehow her mother in the mental facility started doxing me, telling people that I kidnapped my daughter, telling them my address, calling law enforcement on me. She ended up claiming that she was actually getting out of the mental facility, and because I had no rights, I'd be arrested for kidnapping my daughter. So that night, I drove to my daughter's mother's house, and I called DCF and was just sitting there crying. Like, I wanted somebody to be able to say, hey, this person just got out of a mental facility. Like, yes, dad can take the kid. I'm not trying to be a criminal, but I want to know that my child's safe. DCF didn't answer. They don't have anybody on 24-hour calls, and law enforcement couldn't tell me anything. Eventually, she ended up claiming that she was still in the facility, that she wasn't going to do anything. She eventually gets out. We go through the supervised visitation center locally, which is evil, in my opinion. A major problem, in my opinion, with our family court system, at least all family court systems, is that they consider it civil, which means that the rules are different than criminal. And experts or witnesses are not to be recused. So what I found out after being at the facility that promised certain protocols would be taken, and at the time, everything worked out. I did get temporary full custody. I think that the next day, her mom, we were supposed to show up for court as well. Like, we had a court hearing to see what was going on, and her mom couldn't show up. So the court ultimately gave me that right. And DCF ended up coming over to my house and recommending me. I think it was like the next day or very soon after, they recommended me getting a restraining order against her mother, just because A, the doxing, and B, the irrational behaviors. So needless to say, we get there, the supervised visitation center, after looking at their website, at the time, her attorney is the vice president of the board.
Oh boy.
So I'm looking at these aspects and saying, why aren't the rules being followed? And it's like, oh, duh, like, it's a rigged system. So when I brought it to the courts and said, I'm literally watching my daughter not be supervised, because I lived at the time about an hour away from the supervised visitation center. Now her attorney is actually the president of the board. I bring it up to the courts. The court said, well, sorry, since it's civil court, conflict of interest isn't a thing. And because they are the cheapest facility, we can't tell them that they have to go somewhere else, because we're harming the mother by having her pay an undue cost because they're the cheapest facility. And I would reckon that they're probably the cheapest facility because they're ran by lawyers. Like, it's a manipulated system. And they it got so disgusting in court that the witness, the psychologist that was supposed to be supervising, wanted to talk about how unfortunately I was having to wrench and work all the time. And yeah, so there would be some stains on my daughter's clothes. They were stains, not that she was dirty, but there are stains. I had an hour-long drive. I wasn't allowed to be in the facility. So after an hour with a 1-year-old, you're going to have an accident. So she wanted to end up telling the judge that it was me, that I was the problem, and everything at the facility was great, and that her mom was a miracle. They put shoes on her and she walked for the first time. Like, it was, yeah, it is absolutely mind-blowing that the courts just entertain the idea. Part of part of single dads is I would love to actually eventually be able to provide service that we could provide fathers, so that way they could have an unbiased uh situation, um or even be able to jump back and forth, because
Let, well, let's take a pause there because you're shifting into the work that you're doing, and I want everybody's attention on that. Just let me say, Joshua, you have my deepest condolences for what you have had to go through all these years, just wanting to be a dad to your child. You're a hero, man. You've put up with hell on earth, just trying to love and take care of your daughter. And I want you to know that I appreciate the effort you have put forth. I'm sure all of our viewers do. Just hang in there, man. Your story is going to help some dad out there who's going through it right now. All right. So we're going to take a pause for this short announcement. And then when we come back, I'm going to be asking Joshua about the work that he is doing that really is a response to the hell on earth that he has had to experience. Stay with us. This is the Fathering Strong podcast.
A recent survey of the greatest needs of fathers determined that many of them want to learn how to be the best dads they can be. This includes seeking advice on fatherhood, parenting skills, and understanding their role in a child's life. We're happy to announce the new Fathering Strong book and suite of resources that includes a workbook, 30-day devotional and journal, and workshop materials. Written by Fathering Strong's Bruce Stapleton, this package provides everything you need for your personal growth as the spiritual leader of your home. Get more information at thefatheringstrongbook.com. Purchase the materials wherever books are sold.
Thanks for hanging with us. Eli Williams here. Joshua Krakow is my guest today. He is in Florida. Tell me again, what part of Florida?
Fort Myers.
Fort Myers. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Your story is compelling, Joshua, and you have taken that and it has fueled some work that you're doing. So tell us about Single Dads Outreach and other things that you are doing to help other dads who may be going through the same kind of suffrage as you.
Okay. So let me touch back a little bit as well on the family court system, because there was even more abuse in the family court system in the state of Florida that I think we need to touch on.
Sure.
Like I had mentioned earlier, I am disabled from a motorcycle accident from 2008. My daughter was born in 2018, 10 years prior. The state decided that what I get from losing my leg should be considered income. And because the federal government defined it as pain and suffering, as it should be, in my opinion, and many others, the state argued that because it was tax-free, that it should be added as if I were earning it. So they accrued even more financial burden on me as if I earned the money rather than it was for my pain and suffering. So our state of Florida literally has an instance where my pain and suffering is my daughter's profit, which I think is just, I don't know how a judge can even look themselves in the face. Not even like put me out of the equation, but how a judge could look at someone in a negative position that they were given compensation for pain and suffering, and they want to manipulate that pain and suffering for extortion. I mean, it's just evil, in my opinion, that the courts are operated and justifiably operate in that. Um, Another thing that I wanted to touch on with the state of Florida is in 2001, our Supreme Court of Florida ruled that we should have what's called a family law advisory group, which is something that our nonprofit has been trying to advocate for as well. Which basically it is supposed to be a school board, basically like a school board meeting, where the judge is supposed to it's supposed to be an open forum for the judges to hear the concerns from the constituents, whether it's the parents, teachers, coaches, because at the time in 2001, the Supreme Court found that 40% of our court filings were family law related and 70% of them were re-adjudicated, ultimately leading the court to say, we think that the judges are not connected with the community that they are supposed to be serving. So we want to make sure that they are on the pulse. And since no county in the state of Florida has actually implemented that policy because there was no procedural manners or frequency, there have been a few counties in the state that have attempted, but they just gave up because there was no benefit to them. So, and this is something that I brought up with many counties. I brought up with DJJ. I brought up with our courts and just trying to actually get them compliant. And it's literally just stonewall. So needless to say, going into the nonprofit now, after going through the trauma that I went through, I mean, I will admit that I have been financially blessed with my structured settlement from losing my leg. It does allow me that I am not able, or that I don't have to work full time, and I still can have a reasonable lifestyle. So I am very blessed in that manner. And with that being said, being able to be blessed gives me the opportunity to invest my time into hopefully helping others not go through what I went through. And paralleling what I learned with losing my leg in the hospital had a program with amputees that, hey, you know what? It's traumatic. We have a support group. And it was like, losing my leg was hard. I mean, 19, it's been almost half my life now. But yeah, it was not as traumatic as going through the family court system. I will tell you that.
Wow.
And with that being said, I reached out to our state legislature and said, hey, I don't know what I need to do, but we need to reform our court system and fix some of these problems because this is just unacceptable. So I think Sean, my co-founder, ended up reaching out to them prior, and I don't know, they made the connection. That was the most that they've done to us. We've actually reached out to them multiple times to help and see if they can actually help us get our nonprofit operating. They have failed, unfortunately, and I don't know, it was a blessing that we were able to meet, at least me and Sean, to get this partnership going. So now in Southwest Florida, we have a fatherhood coalition built with Single Dads Outreach, my nonprofit. We have Child Advocacy Center, Lutheran Services, Healthy Start, and I think Children's Network, and Children's Network. So we have a bunch of fatherhood programs in this area. Most of them are dependency court, and they're mostly case managers and case workers. So they deal with different kinds of cases than I deal with. I typically go after dads that are just normal dads, not that are going through the court system, that are abused through the court system, whether through the jail system or not. My Single Dads Outreach did apply for a grant to work in the prisons, to actually have some physical structure with the entity that we are having right now. Because, I mean, as most nonprofits, you're flapping in the wind trying to build some kind of structure to then prosper and be able to provide support for others. And with that being said, we're still in that phase. We're trying to fill our niche. We're helping as many people as we can. It's all volunteer based. We are actually getting ready to do our first fundraiser. We're doing a car show November 8th. Hopefully bring in some good cars and bring in some good camaraderie and just bring in some good support and a good event for kids and families to come out to. We'll have a bounce house, music. So we're doing our first event, but we were hopefully going to get into the prisons with our state legislature. And that also, I now am in politics. I've ran for state house myself because I realized that our politicians, unfortunately, don't work for us. They won't pick up the phone. They won't call you back. It's in every aspect. I mean, I now follow our politicians, especially local, like most people follow sports. I'm not a sports fan and I'm not a politics fan, but there's a lot of corruption in my county that I am now actively, I would like to say that I am becoming a rising star in this political landscape because of how much pushback I have to the people that just claim to represent, but in fact, just collect a check. So I've been big advocate on all those policies. We also work with the National Parenting Organization, NPO. Chris Felder out of Sarasota. He's a good friend of ours as well. But it's all about networking. We're just trying to, one of the things that I do is I go on Facebook dating, and I am single. So one thing that I found was on Facebook dating, they have a friend section where if you're a man, it advises you to meet other men. So since it's a dating app, they give you the drop down of, do you have a kid? So in my spare time, I reach out to these dads saying, hey, how's your custody situation going, man? Just simple as that. Some of them just want to vent. Some of them want to share. Some of them I can say, hey, this is a program that is going on with our collaborative, our fatherhood collaborative. A lot of these different programs are for like 3 to 5 and 7 to 10. So we are trying to network as many of our dads in with our different nonprofits to be able to provide as many services in this area as possible, which has been great. So it's been great trying to be able to give different resources, even if it's not our nonprofit, being able to actually be a liaison for other nonprofits and hopefully give some of these dads some support. That's really been our biggest operation, other than trying to apply for these grants and get some kind of funding, because like I said, we're still self-funded, we're fully volunteer based. We try to do during the fall months, because Florida gets hot, we do playground meetups. We have a big 4-foot tall inflatable soccer ball that we'll get out and have the kids play with. And eventually part of my goal is to get inflatables. I want to get like a big obstacle course and a small little bounce house. I want to get dads in the bounce houses with their kids. I want to get older kids to be doing races with their dads. Like, I want to be able to create networks and fatherhood groups that are going fishing or hunting or whatever. And hey, you know what? That group didn't work out. Let's go back to the hub and kind of network out. Sean is he does a lot of the back end stuff, which I don't understand, to be honest with you. And then also we have a vision of eventually building a senior dads division, where it is fathers that have graduated, their kids are graduated, empty nesters, maybe even their kids are still living with them, or they have grandkids. And we want to be able to, like I said, my dad's not in my life. I have a daughter. It's like, how do you have those conversations? Like, as a dad, I want to, dad, it also isn't a conversation you, as a son, you don't have with your mother either. Like,
Right.
so we want to be able to have fathers, retired dads that are able to step in and almost become foster grandfather for these children. So that way we can grow and build community, whether it's just how did you deal with this situation and the wisdom, rather than me, I'm still going through it. My daughter's 7. So the insight that I can provide for you through the peer-to-peer is different than the insight, because I don't have the wisdom. I have stories that I've heard and I can share with you, but I don't have the insight that these retired dads can provide, as well as we hope that they can eventually network and say, hey, you know what? Life's busy. I'm in a rush. I got a call. Can you pick up my daughter for me and watch my daughter? I mean, we want to build that network so that way we can actually have people that we know and can trust with our kids, rather than leaving them with strangers, and knowing that
Right.
that we have that community. Because unfortunately, in my opinion, government does a very bad job of it. So,
Wow. Well, listen, if you were able to get the funding or whatever you need to get into the prisons, what would you do there?
so in the prisons, the plan is even if we, the plan is to, we've already talked with Charlotte County Corrections, and Charlotte County Jail. The corrections is, a medium, security prison. They would love to work with us. We met with the staff. They love the idea of having a program there. From my understanding, the state legislature actually funded a nonprofit, the Jack Brewer Foundation, to operate in this area. And it just seems like it's, I don't know. I mean, I am networked with 4 other nonprofits and we don't see any function. The jails aren't seeing any of this money getting funded and actually implemented. So what we want to do is the prison already said that we would be doing kind of a classroom setting where basically, I mean, the whole premise would be to have a group of guys sit down and let's just talk about our kids. Let's humanize each other first and foremost. Then the goal would be to just open up, learn about their kids. Maybe we can start reaching out to their kids, be able to advocate for them. I mean, no, I don't want to talk to dad is different than, hey, it's my time. Please respect my time. Your dad is honestly trying to work his way through this. He's hopefully going to come out soon. It'll help him not go back as well. And that is our hope, is to be able to be the liaison. So that way we can help prevent recidivism and then build the bonds. I mean, my dad's passed now, so I never unfortunately had the opportunity to ever get that closure with my dad. But I would project to say that a lot of these kids that have their fathers in prison, I mean, even if they resent them for being in jail, a kid wants their parents' approval and respect.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, getting
Yeah.
the respect of your kid can mean the world to you. I mean, that can change your life around. Even if they were just fooling me and having me work to them and their kid now starts to respect them, it's like, hey, I need to be a better role model because I want to, like, I've earned this respect. I don't want to lose that respect. So, I mean, that's really our focus on trying to get into the jails and the prisons. The jail said that we were able to do they have tablets in the jail. So, and because their programs, they don't know how long the dads are going to be there in the jail.
Right.
It just makes way more sense to bring tablets in and do that peer-to-peer counseling aspect with them on the tablets as well.
Right. Yeah,
So,
that makes sense. So do you use or provide any kind of fatherhood class or use a curriculum of some kind to teach parenting skills or anything
Yeah.
like that?
So we have a partner. His name's Cisco. He's our programs director. He's helped try to curate different programs through I think it's 24-hour Dad makes a difference, and there are other regimens that he's certified in. Um, he's certified in the National Fatherhood Institute as well. So he has the credentials. He's been through it. He did it all in Connecticut, and then he found himself down here due to family court system that he found himself in down here as well. So he's trying to help us get what's been implemented in Connecticut down here, where
Really?
in Connecticut, I guess that he was able to actually advocate in the courts for the GADs as well.
Yeah,
Which that's one of the things that we would love to do. I mean, there's so many advocates for moms. There's so many different programs. Not saying that that they should be taken away, but we would like to be able to have equal resources, because for every single mom, there's a dad.
absolutely. Absolutely. What about when it comes to legal services? Are there any programs where you are where there are lawyers available to help these fathers who are having, issues, legal issues when it comes to their children?
We do have legal aid. They are somewhat helpful, very knowledgeable. I'm not dismissing them, but they are very limited in resource. And
Yeah.
it really, you have to be in a poverty level and first come, first serve. And they're very knowledgeable. I'm not belittling them by any means, but
Right.
it's, it's a nonprofit law firm that, yeah, is in the family court system.
Yeah.
And in our court system, we've had, I believe, just in Lee County, we have over 100,000 filings annually.
Yeah. They're overwhelmed.
And
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
5 different counties in our or in our 20th circuit.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many needs. You're to be congratulated for the effort that you're putting forth to cobble together different services to help these fathers who unfortunately don't find much help when it comes to the legal system and even social services. It seems that everything is for the moms, and the dads are a second thought, if thought of as ever. Do you have any connection with churches in your community? Are there any partnerships that you've been able to develop there to reach and serve fathers?
Unfortunately, it's very, very, very disappointing. Like I said, my dad was very active in the churches. I know many of our pastors on first name basis, they will recognize me. I've asked to have meetings and try to do partnerships with their congregation. It seems like unless if you're in their congregation, the door is shut. And unless if it's their program, they have no interest, unfortunately. And that's very, very, very disheartening to say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's sad. Um, in fact, it could be infuriating. So, well, I understand totally. So, Joshua, what are your greatest needs right now to achieving the goals that you have for Single Dads Outreach and the other work that you're doing?
Really, it would be nice to uh make it a part-time job for me. So I don't have to work and then be able to, I mean, I typically work part-time myself. So it would be nice to be able to cut back on the work and focus on messaging more dads and being able to do more networking and continue to advocate. Um, One other thing that I did want to mention about the prisons, and I highly recommend people look into, um, is the Anti-Alienation Project. There's a great woman named Madison who runs it, and she is a child of an alienated, she was alienated from her father, and she gives the perspective of the child. And that's another thing that I think is very important when it comes to these fathers in jails and helping them, is setting proper expectations. Because even if the phone calls go great, it's not going to be, it's going to be touch and go. Like it's, yeah. So trying to set proper expectations of, hey, we're getting released, we're going to go home and see our kids and everything's going to be
Yeah.
back to normal. We need to actually make sure that they understand that that might not be the reality. We hope that that's the reality, but unfortunately, time and distance has relationships fade, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And trust can fade as well. So,
I would love to meet her. I would appreciate a connection with her if you could put us together. Love to talk to her and perhaps even have her on the Fathering Strong podcast to talk about alienation from the child's standpoint. That would be a very interesting conversation.
okay. Yeah, I'll see if I can try and make the connection. Yeah.
So Joshua, what motivates you? What keeps you going? What gets you up in the morning and fires you up that you want to go out and do some good work?
I would honestly say that I'm not religious anymore. Like I said, I grew up in the church. I'm now agnostic. But I would say that I still have a lot of the values that come with religion. And I've always had this notion of serving. I mean, that's why I wanted to join the Marines. As a kid, I wanted to join the Marines. It wasn't like it was a last resort. It wasn't, I wanted to be the biggest, baddest, toughest. I was willing to go through it. And I had the mindset that I was going to sacrifice my life for the country. And, I mean, I think that's really where it comes down to is I mean, I've always seen myself as an ant. I mean, there's 330 million people in America. I mean, to think that you're some divine thing is very, very grandiose of yourself. So, no, I mean, I've also faced death multiple times. I mean, I don't know when my card's gonna pull. So I don't know whether there is a heaven or hell or whether it's juju or whatever. At the end of the day, I want to know that I helped rather than hurt the future. And I want to be able, especially as a father now. I mean, before a kid, I mean, I lost my leg and I was still riding motorcycles. I mean, I did some crazy things and yeah, still was reckless after my accident. But after being a father, your vision gets way more focused and yeah. And it's not about you. It's now making sure that not just the world's a better place, but that it's a better place for your kid to live. And that's where I want. Like, I want my daughter to understand that I work hard, that I want to spend every second paying attention to her and playing with her undivided and whatever. And yeah, it's all about trying to make the future better for our kids, in my opinion.
Well, it's very commendable, Joshua. As for your agnosticism, perhaps offline we can have a conversation deeper and go into that. I'm a minister. I would love to have that conversation with you. So, is there a final word that you would like to give for some dad out there who is struggling with these kinds of issues, fighting just to be able to spend some time with his kid? Do you have an encouraging word for him?
Yeah, actually, the most encouraging thing was I recently had talking with a father who was about 56, if I had to guess, mid 50s, maybe early 60s. And he was explaining to me his relationship with his daughter and how he didn't have a relationship with his daughter until the last, I think he said like the past year or two. And now his daughter is on hard times. She's now moved in with him. And she's an adult and she's now living with her dad again. And their relationship is better than it ever has been. And with that being said, I mean, I think that there's so much value in not giving up and understanding that even in an adult life, your child may need your help, and just always having your hand out for your kid, even if it's blocked or whether it's dismissed by the kid. There's a good opportunity that you might miss if you don't have your hand out. And yeah, that handout could definitely change your life and change your child's life.
Thank you so much for that. And thank you for the time that you set aside for us today. Your story is compelling. It's inspirational. Keep up the good work. I'm sure you're making a difference, Joshua. And as you said, that's what's driving you. So I hope we'll have a conversation again, and I look forward to hearing you. I'd love to connect with Madison and anyone else that you think would make a great inspirational conversation to have here on the Fathering Strong podcast. Thanks again.
Yeah, no problem, sir. Great talking to you.
My guest again has been Joshua Krakow, and we do appreciate him. And we thank you for listening today and watching. And we pray that you will be around for the next installment of the Fathering Strong podcast. Have a good day.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Fathering Strong podcast. We hope you enjoyed it, were inspired, challenged, and encouraged. By subscribing, you won't miss an episode as you'll receive notifications of each new posting. Go to the Fathering Strong YouTube channel to subscribe. For an informative weekly read, sign up for the Fathering Strong blog posts. Find them at urbanlight.org. Fathering Strong is powered by Urban Light Ministries, a nonprofit Christian organization that has been serving families for nearly 30 years. Charitable gifts by people like you enable us to offer resources free of charge. Go to www.urbanlight.org to give. Thank you. Join us for the next installment of the Fathering Strong podcast.